What is up, iCkEdMeL? And I wanted to share this cease and desist that I was sent from this alleged murderer's attorney. Now, I believe that it didn't actually come from the attorney. I believe that it came from the alleged killer, because one of them, Nina, is an attorney, and then Lisa is a paralegal. This was sent May 5th, 2021. Why I'm talking about it now, because the trials have started. And Lisa currently is doing trial. Then it's going to be Nina. Then it's going to be Charles. If you haven't heard about this story, I highly recommend you check out my Everything You Need to Know video in 17 minutes. It gets your foot in to be able to understand what's going on with all the different characters involved in this story. And then you can watch the deep dives after on my playlist. A quick synopsis is Marisela lived in Seattle. She flew out to Texas to visit a really close friend of hers named Maurice, which it was really interesting seeing him testify during the trial, which is currently happening now.
You remember I asked you about the Percocet?
Sure.
On the same tape that I just let you hear, someone asked you, where did y'all get the Percocet? Remember that?
Yes, sir.
And you said, I got it from a dude, didn't you?
Apparently so, yes.
Ain't no apparent. Didn't you say, I got it from a dude, referring to the Percocet?
On the tape you're showing me, apparently so. Yes, sir. Do I recollect? No.
So she flies out to Texas and she starts going out one night with him to party. Ruiz gets super wasted. She has to take him back because he threw up on himself.
I wasn't going to go out. I told her, hey, if anything, if I get into my apartment, let's meet up at Deep Ellum. So she got an Uber, went to Deep Ellum, and I literally slept outside my apartment out in the balcony, like vomit on me. And that's when the next morning I woke up. I was messaging her all morning, and she just didn't respond.
And she goes out to continue to party by herself, and she ends up meeting a guy named Charles. Now, they end up eventually, it seems like, going back to his place, but his place, it wasn't just him there. There was another woman there named Lisa, which was and is being dubbed his sugar mama. They had some type of relation, or she was helping him out. And also another woman there named Nina was visiting, which they all had some kind of thruple relationship, which has been said various times from people that I've spoken to.
And at this point, it was kind of like her, Chuck, and Nina. You know, they kind of had this threesome kind of thing going on.
And this is from Lisa. You're not just surmising this.
No.
It's Lisa telling you this.
Yes.
To now, even in the trial, it's being said. They go back to the house. They end up.
Y'all have sex?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. After you have sex, what happens then?
She'll chop it up, talk for a little bit, smoke a cigarette. Well, I smoke a cigarette.
Smoke cigarettes, talk, chat a little bit, then
Fell asleep.
tell me what happens then.
I wake up to her screaming, saying, help me, help me. And I look up, and I guess just from all the movement going on in the bed, that's when I wake up and I see Lisa on top of her.
What is she doing?
She's like with the knife coming down like this. And once I reach the knife, so I push Lisa off of her.
What happens when you push Lisa off of her?
Yeah, just my reaction was just to push her, and I pushed her hard, and her and Marisela like tumble over and fall towards where the window is at right there.
And what happens then?
Lisa still got the hold of her. As I get up, I'm still trying to process what the hell is going on. I see Lisa still grabbing her. I jump over the bed, and as I come over to the bed, I'm trying to pry Lisa off of her, pull her apart. Lisa got to like her hair or something to where she can't. She's trying to like get off of her, and I'm trying to pry them apart. You know how like if you hold something and somebody's trying to pull and you like let it go?
Yeah.
Like Marisela just ends up, as I'm pulling them off, it's like Lisa just kind of like let go, and she just tumbles over. She tumbles over and she falls on the bed. Then I look behind me, she falls on the bed, and I look towards Lisa, and I grab Lisa and I pin her to the wall, and I'm like, what the F are you doing, you know?
Long story short, Marisela's body is found months later, but night of the incident, I don't know how long after, maybe a week or plus after, it seems like they all go on the run and police have to track them down. Eventually, they're all caught, they're tracked down, And then Nina and Lisa post bond. They remove their ankle monitors. For some reason, the company that does the ankle monitoring stuff didn't report it for 10 or 12 days.
The Nestle Castillo
Well, it's definitely been not easy, that's for sure.
is her aunt.
You know, we felt some sort of relief when they were arrested.
And right now, she's furious because these two women, Lisa Dykes and Nina Marano, both charged with Marisela's murder, are nowhere to be found, vanishing over the holidays, according to court records, after being out on bond for months.
And I think that's totally unacceptable. That should have never happened.
Sus, because my opinion, they're very connected out there. They flee the country to Cambodia, and then they're caught again. And that's a very watered down version. So definitely watch the timeline video if you're trying to understand what's going on and you want to watch the trial. Watch the deep dive I did on Nina, which they referenced this in the cease and desist. They didn't like that. Also, I did a deep dive on Lisa, which was after the fact of the cease and desist. I spoke to her ex-best friend who gave a lot of details. Menstrual blood as a binding ritual, black magic, Santa Muerte. It's even come up in the trial. I've had multiple people tell me weird accounts of this like black magic with her. To claims of Nina and Lisa wanting to get custody of Charles Beltran's child. And I didn't just concoct that. I literally sent me documentation of these women paying off his child support because he was behind, and then sending legal requests under his name and them signing it. Petitioner asks the court to change conservatorship custody as follows. Father should be the sole managing conservator of the child. Father should have exclusive right to designate the primary residence of the child anywhere without geographic restriction. And this is Nina.
Were you aware that some paperwork had been filed with family court on your behalf to, I guess, see your daughter more?
I didn't know until I came here.
Okay, so you didn't know that there was filing on your behalf, like a suit affecting parent-child relationship? I know that sounds super legal. Did you know that that had been filed on your behalf?
No, ma'am.
And if you watch the Bill story, which I highly recommend, Nina always wanted a kid, but Bill didn't want a kid. Once you start processing it all kind of comes full circle. Do you know too, like, because I've heard some people say, did Nina want a child? Like this whole thing with them trying to get custody of Charles's kid. Like, any thoughts on that?
Yeah. Nina wanted a child and she couldn't have one because Bill was obviously a lot older than her. Nina actually has written, she wrote a children's book. It was published on Amazon. You can look it up. If you type in her name in Amazon and look up children's book, it's going to pop up. My knowledge, there was a child that belongs to Chuck, and the mother of that child, and I can't speak on this because I don't know, but they kind of tried to pay her to take Chuck's child and tried to convince her that she wasn't fit to take care of said child, that, you know, Lisa and Nina could provide a better life for this child because they had all the money in the world and they could take care of this child. I don't even know if it's the child, if it's a Bill had a vasectomy. Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I was told. That's his daughter in the chat.
Did you become aware that Lisa and Nina took your last name?
Yes, ma'am.
When did you become aware of that?
They told me.
They told you?
Yes, ma'am.
Was it something you asked them to do?
No, ma'am.
What did you think? What did you think about that?
I mean, there was conversations of them bringing it up, talking about it, but I didn't take it serious. Yeah. Until they came back and told me they got married.
That they got married?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
So this is May 5th, 2021. Cease and desist demand, which, by the way, one of the attorneys representing Lisa is Valerie Baston. She's literally, right now, in the trial, she's one of the attorneys.
Ms. Martinez, I'm Valerie Baston, and I'm going to ask you some questions, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Wait, that's Valerie? Oh, that's the one in the green, Valerie? Lord almighty. Cease and desist demand for immediate removal of defamatory material. And this is May 5th, 2021. Certified mail, which I never got, and they had the wrong address and spelled my name wrong. Nina Morano and Lisa Dykes. Please allow this letter to serve as final notice to cease and desist in spreading defamatory information about my clients, Nina and Lisa. Specifically, you are publishing false information about my clients that you either knew or should have known were false. And there again is like some type of misspelling. You know, you think they do their due diligence. It happens though. Had you made any legitimate effort, which is laughable, had you made any legitimate effort to corroborate before publication, it is against the law to spread lies about people, and any continuation of the same will be met with legal action. On or about March 26, while reciting the details of the arrest warrant, okay, and referring to my clients, you proclaimed, doesn't seem it's your first time doing this ish. If you ask me, my opinion, doesn't seem like it's your first time doing this. You guys have other bodies under your name, ? You guys are suspects, which they literally were and are. You know, like, you guys leave your residence, car behind, you move out, you move to different states. To me, it seems like you guys know what you're doing. It's not your first time. Like, you got other bodies under your belt. While you state this as your opinion, you preface it with falsehoods and that were nowhere in the arresting affidavit. If you did any due diligence, you would know what you said was false and dangerously, irreparably prejudicial to my clients.
Where did you guys go after you came back from Mexico? I mean, so you guys are on the run.
Yeah.
Seems like.
Yes, ma'am.
And so, I mean, it's just really ironic reading this now and the things that have happened in this trial, the witnesses that have come forward. Additionally, you provided an online form wherein your callers were allowed to make further false, misleading claims about my clients. Particularly, it was stated that Miss Morano and Miss Dykes are white suburban women with professional degrees who are bankrolling some wannabe rapper, which that's kind of been the theme of the trial.
Yeah, so after she moved him in, she came in one day and told me that she was buying him a lot of equipment.
Describe it, or what were your observations of that relationship with Chuck and Lisa?
The way he described it with me, sugar mama type.
So she's drinking with you guys and bringing boys over, y'all are hanging out, all that.
Yes, ma'am.
There's a pool in the back.
Pool in the bag.
Had you ever lived like that before?
No, ma'am.
Ever had a nice house like that?
Never lived in a house before, ever.
In a weird thruple. I mean, if I feel it's weird, I feel it's weird. The remarks you permitted on your channel live show are discrediting, damaging, and deflammatory or inflammatory in nature.
You know, they kind of had this threesome kind of thing going on.
Miss Morano is not in fact white, and your bankrolling comment is completely false. I don't know if I made that bankrolling comment or somebody that called in, but all the testimonies, that's what people attribute that to.
All you're talking about is Nina. Are y'all together? And she goes, well, yeah. And I was like, yeah, but girl, you're not into women. She goes, yeah, but Nina can give me everything that I've ever wanted.
Oh!
And what does she mean by give me everything that I've ever wanted? How did you take that?
Well, I knew that Nina was an attorney. From what I knew, her and Bill had several homes, so I would kind of take it that they were probably well-to-do.
As far as the white thing, if they want to hang on that, I don't think anybody was talking about that they meant that she was physically white, just that whole type of white suburban mom type of thing. But anyway, legally, on this documentation, Nina Morano, it says she white here, okay? But I obviously know she's not white. I'm being a little facetious in this statement. Miss Morano is in fact not white.
And before we move on to the next area, I just want to address one more thing. This whole part of where I state it's my opinion, and it doesn't seem like it's your first time doing this. asking the questions if you have other bodies under your name. This is going to come up later. The whole suspects, you guys are suspects. They literally questioned me for saying that, calling them suspects, which is literally in articles and it's literally stated in the affidavit. You're going to see this later that I said that they're afraid of being caught or that they were caught. They used that phrase against me. Like they were caught twice. Okay. But this whole thing too, where, I asked these questions and it seems like you guys know what you're doing. It's not your first time. Like you got other bodies under your belt. I don't think that is unreasonable to question things like that. That happens pretty often when there's a crime and there's a murder and there's people attached to that. And you wonder, well, has there been anybody else? I mean, I think quite a bit of times I've seen stories that we covered where sometimes police will check out any other similar crimes and kind of look and see, has there been any other victims? That's not unreasonable. On March 29, 2021, you incorrectly stated so far all the people who have been caught have been in Florida. Their place of residence was in Texas. And once they started being looked into, they left the place of residence. A couple of things here. Okay. For one, the suspects, which is going to come up whenever, are aware that an investigation is being conducted regarding the disappearance of the complaint, and the detectives have attempted to contact them throughout the course of the investigation. The suspects have shown a pattern of avoidance and attempted concealment of evidence pertaining to this investigation. The first time they were arrested, Nina and Lisa, was in March, and they both were caught in Florida. And actually, Charles at some point was in Florida for a little bit too. Now, Lisa was living in Texas. Nina, no, she was not living in Texas. She was living in Pennsylvania. But at the time when the incident occurred with Marisela, she was in Texas, staying there for a little bit, I guess, visiting. And as far as once they started being looked into, they left their places of residence. I mean, literally. That's why I don't think this was sent by their attorney. I don't think any reasonably minded attorney would send this. But I think it was either Nina or Lisa that did this. That's what I think, But on the arrest warrant again, the complainant's blood was found on the carpet with unknown male and female profiles, which that came up during the trial, and that was interesting. And that was what the defense, if you guys remember, was trying to be like this. There was this male and female. Who else was there? That's what they were trying to bring up. Believed to belong to suspect Beltran and Marano, the suspects have refused to speak with the detectives after multiple attempts. After the complainant's disappearance, all the suspects have left their jobs, moved out of their individual homes in Texas and in Pennsylvania. The complainant has not been seen or heard of ever since. Another thing that I wanted to point out, in this part here where they quote me saying their place of residence was in Texas, I don't know if they think like they got me there because it's Pennsylvania and Texas. They quote the timestamp of 4220 for this video on my YouTube page. And if you go just a little further in that same video, I literally read the affidavit and state both Texas and Pennsylvania. But what I realized too, when people have nothing, because I've had people try to call me and try to nitpick the little smallest things because they have nothing at all. But had they gone just a little further, check it out. To speak with the detectives after multiple attempts, after the complainant's disappearance, all suspects have left their jobs, moved out of their individual homes in Texas and Pennsylvania. Now, in this next part, it says, next you iterate Ms. Dyke's booking picture showed her other side. You continue saying that, then over here, it's like you almost see like evil. Look at the look on her face, like she's pissed off, evil, angry, wasn't expected to get caught. I mean, just look at the look in her eyes. She looks like you can just see evil in there. Arguably, you may believe your actions are covered by journalistic or press protection. Honestly, to give an opinion about somebody's looks, you don't need journalistic or press protection. What the heck? But your comments maliciously denigrate material, personal, and professional attributes of my clients. Further, your desire to aggressively broadcast my clients' biographies, discussions of past business ventures, previous marriages, education, employment, familial connections, previous addresses, is reasonably construed as a prejudicial witch hunt. A mere meritless pursuit of possessing not a shred of journalism worthiness. More importantly, you allude to my clients being guilty as charged because you recklessly use terms like caught. I mean, what other word was I supposed to say? I mean, what friendly word, what safe word would you use for people that literally were on the run twice and caught twice? And the second time they were caught was in Cambodia, in a whole nother country. They had GPS monitors that they broke out of. And then as far as her booking picture, this is a video from the time. Yeah, look at her face. I'm allowed to give my opinion about her face. What? What kind of woke? What? I mean, I seen how those attorneys been carrying on in court. Like, they're a little bit wild. Just look at the look on her face. Like, maybe she's pissed off, evil, angry, wasn't expecting to get caught. She looks a little bigger, too. Oh, okay. I mean, just look at the look. Oh, they didn't mention I said bigger. Maybe they didn't go that far in the video because they would have put that in there to try to cancel me. It's like, oh, like you could just see like there's evil in there. I don't know. Look at that smug. But look. Last known location, Mesquite. That was the place of residence. Fugitive from justice. How dare you say he was on the run? Capital murder. How dare you call them suspects? And then as far as them talking about past business ventures, previous marriages, education, blah, 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 family, that's all a part of the story. I did my research. You know, that was actually a deep dive. And, you know, there's a stark difference between that person that was falsely accusing me of a bunch of stuff, that nut, in my opinion, versus look at all the work that I put in. And this wasn't even, I can't even present everything, all the people that have contacted me. I have so much information, but I have to put this thing within a certain time frame. Multiple people, documentation, court documents. There's a big difference between that person that just has a vision one day or just concocts something, or I don't know what was up with that person, versus this. Nothing about your exploits have conveyed this necessary proper doctrine throughout your deplorable on some Hillary Clinton.
Be grossly generalistic. You could put half of Trump supporters into what I call the basket of deplorables.
Or pernicious coverage of the situation. You can tell they're pissed.
Trump is now president of the United States.
What a great honor to be able to introduce for the first time ever anywhere the 45th President of the United States of America, Donald.
Oh my God. On or about April 1st, 2021, you stated that Nina was pretty much homeless on the street. This guy comes along and she needed a job. And it's just this long story of someone who came in and provided everything for her, pretty much got her school and education. This guy ends up dying in an accident, and he felt like she was cheating. Like a month before he died, he was asking people to look into Lisa. You alleged that Miss Dykes was in an arranged marriage for money and immigration status, and that Miss Dykes and Miss Marano were in a thruple.
She would talk fairly well about Nina. She was a really good friend. They were best friends. She talked about how financially stable Nina was, stuff like that.
Did she ever describe, I guess, the nature of their relationship and what it was based on?
Just that they were best friends, and she did speak a lot about the finances when it came to Nina.
Did she ever express to you that this marriage was an arrangement where she was madly in love with her?
No, it never did. She never did express that it was about them being in love. It was more of an opportunity.
And what do you mean by an opportunity?
Because of finances.
Okay. At some point, did you and Nina and Lisa all three sleep together?
Yes, ma'am.
Describe to us, what kind of couple?
It was more of an open relationship type of couple. She was the financial giver, if you will.
I do think that their marriage was due to financial reasons.
Throughout the remainder of this video, you spoke fervently on your alleged personal knowledge about my clients. Your speech was a gross misrepresentation supported by false, unsubstantiated hearsay claims upon which your entire so-called investigation was forged. Nothing about my clients' personal lives, as reported by you, has been corroborated by them or any substantive evidence offered by or made available by the ongoing official investigation or any other legitimate channels. As such, your discussion serves to permanently injure and prejudice the case against my clients and violates their rights to due process. I disagree. And I spoke to people closely related to the story. I spoke to some of Bill's family. I spoke to co-workers and friends and just people that know them. And this quotation from this video they took from April 1st, it was from this video here before I dropped the actual Bill deep dive. So I guess they hear me stating that, hey, I'm about to make this video.
And it's just this whole long story of somebody that came in and provided everything for her pretty much and got her school and education. And
that was April 1st. That was me giving a preview to the project I was working on. Now, the deep dive that I released was May 3rd. I think it's pretty interesting because I got the cease and desist on May 5th, why they wouldn't have included this video that has all the information about Bill and Nina. They said I had no evidence, no substance. I'm just making things up, but I clearly know what I'm talking about. I had family pictures, photos. I mean, really, really deep dove into this, and they didn't say nothing else about that when I made this video. I'm sure they didn't like this. And let me just back this up too for a second. The whole part of cheating, right? Now, not only did this come up in the trial, but 2 years ago, I had talked about this in the Bill video. Not only did I just not talk about it, but I spoke to Bill's son, and he had shown me emails between him and Nina, conversations, details, multiple, while Bill was still alive and still married to Nina. Pictures, all kinds of stuff. And this had come out during the trial as well.
And do you recall about what year she moved in?
They moved in early 2018, her and her husband.
Okay, and her husband's name is?
Bill.
William.
William?
Yes.
And he went by Bill, correct?
Yes.
Okay, Bill Morano.
Correct.
And how was Nina in the neighborhood?
When she first moved in, she was real quiet, but as we grew to know her, she was a social butterfly. She talked to everybody. She was always outside, very kind, great with my children.
Did you have some time to, spend with her and Bill as a couple?
As neighbors, yes.
As neighbors,
yeah.
Let me clarify that. So you, would have dinners together as, neighbors and do events and things like that?
Yes, we've been to their house. They did fires with us, that sort of stuff.
When was it that you recall maybe noticing a change in Bill and Nina's relationship?
When Lisa?
I would say in the fall of 19. And we only noticed it because Bill would sleep in the car in the road behind her house. So we found it odd. So we would ask him, like, are you okay? What's going on? And he would be like, oh, we're arguing. I think she's cheating on me. Okay. I thought they were just going through a rough patch, though. I didn't.
You guys watched the
Bill story? I didn't think they were going to break up.
I hope you watched the Bill story.
Did you ever talk to Nina about it?
No.
Okay. And you said that was in the fall of 2019, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And had you seen Lisa Dykes in Pennsylvania prior to that?
No.
Now, Bill passed away, is that correct?
He did.
When did he pass away?
He passed away November of 19.
Now, when did you actually learn of his passing?
She told us March of 20.
Okay, and when you're saying she, who told you?
Nina.
So you all are neighbors for a few years, you spend time together. Did you find it odd that she didn't tell you of his passing when it happened?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With somebody who would have gone through the services.
Absolutely.
But you didn't really know what all was going on between them at that time.
Correct.
I want to tackle two things here. One, this immigration status, and then two, this whole thing of on April 3rd, 2021, you stated Lisa and Nina decided to get married for financial reasons. They had an open relationship. Lisa would talk to other guys all the time. I established already the financial reasons thing multiple times. You continue to instruct your audience to believe that Lisa would have sex with random people, keeping their litmus narrative. You declare that Nina was permitted to engage in sex with third parties only when Lisa was present, which this was talked about in length throughout the trial. With that in mind, I'm forced to question your source of your alleged information. The fact that you cannot accurately and truthfully certify any of your misrepresentations, therefore your statements are by definition slanderous. False. False. Now, the rumor was that Lisa's husband, Ahmed, was arranged marriage for money and immigration status, but I don't know how true office gossip that was. And I've had other people say the same thing. It wasn't just one person, but I don't want to cause problems for anybody. Okay. Lisa and Nina held themselves out as married, but I don't know if that was ever legal. My understanding is that the three of them were a thruple. Okay. I have, it wasn't just one person. I have multiple people stating similar or the same things. Now, I'm not going to read this entire thing. You can pause the video and read it if you want. This is addressing the whole thing where they quote unquote said that I said Lisa was with men all the time, which I couldn't even find that quote myself. I had just heard that she had been with other men or talked about other men. So I'll start over here. And it says here, you could say that he and Lisa had an open relationship because she used to talk all the time about her other guys. Now, from what Lisa would tell me, Nina wouldn't have sex with other men unless Lisa was there to do a threesome with them. But Lisa wouldn't allow Chuck to have sex with Nina. However, she knew he would talk with other females and occasionally bring them home. Lisa and Nina worked together at Nina's law firm, so on and so forth. You can pause it if you want to read the rest. The Nina and her bitch thing is there just like it was in a trial. The Santa Muerte stuff just like it was in the trial. And this is from years ago.
Was there ever a time or a woman that he slept with where she didn't express a problem?
The one person that he could not sleep with was Nina.
I told you.
Okay, when we say sleep with, did that mean sleep with two of them together where it was a threesome? Or was it just if Nina and Chuck slept together alone?
If Nina and Chuck were alone.
I literally have a video from years ago
Did she ever
saying
express to you that she found out that they had slept together alone?
She did.
And what was her reaction to that?
She was livid.
What do you mean by livid?
She was extremely upset.
I
Very, very angry.
Now, when you said she was livid, what things did she say about it?
She was going to make Nina her bitch. Excuse my language.
You talked about some personal things. Did you ever talk about the sexual relationship that she either had between she and Chuck, she and Nina, or the both of them?
Yes.
Okay, and did she describe, sexual relationship with Chuck?
She did.
And did she tell you details about it, or how did she describe that?
Not extreme details, just that they had an open relationship and she knew about other females that he would bring home.
And they got upset when I
So
said
she
it
didn't
in my video.
talk to you about the down and dirty details of what her and Chuck did?
No.
Moving on or about April 29th, you stated, and the thing is too, if she is trying to slip and slide her way out of this, like she has slipped and slide her way out of a lot of things in her life, I feel like I want to bring that Bill Morano story to kind of haul in a little bit of what her character really is. Like, well, she was married to this guy, Bill. She cheated on somebody in his own family, which I already showed, his son. We could talk about things like that. We can go back into history and some of the character. You went on to expressively mischaracterize Miss Dykes as particularly jealous and participating in a thruple. At approximately 6:24 time spot, you said, "This is the hideous mugshots of these hideous people." Alas, you stated, "But I definitely don't want it to be a thing where these two women snake their way out of the situation. They all need to be held accountable." And what's wrong with that? And they did try to snake their way out. They escaped twice, okay? Or they ran twice. And that's why I'm like, maybe I need to do this video with regards to Nina because she shouldn't be out.
Once again, you spoke without proof or accuracy. Your tone and content are prejudicial at minimum. Thus, you knowingly and willfully insisted on making defamatory comments about my clients, people of whom you have no direct knowledge. Further, it is hypocrisy, that you state my clients need to be held accountable for their actions as you have no legitimate knowledge about, yet you have shown no accountability for spreading lies that could ruin my clients' lives. Yet they're all locked up in jail or prison or whatever. On or about April 30th or May 3rd, you allude to some wrongdoing by Ms. Serrano during the normal employment engagement pertaining to her law practice. Specifically, you attempted to call into question the work being done on a family law case in Texas because you averred that my clients were going hard to get full custody of the child of a client. You continued with the hypothesis comporting that the aforementioned family law case was part of a larger diabolical plan in response to some perfidious conspiracy. You spent considerable time giving inaccurate biopic data about Ms. Serrano's late husband. You said Ms. Serrano stole money and silver collection and jewelry from her late husband's safe. Without a doubt, this is another example of your invidious and hurtful rhetoric made to the detriment of my client. Bill's family told me that. Joe in the chat was asking, Joe, I think Joe says, there you go. Nina did exactly that. Stole from my dad's estate. She did steal more than once. Not sure how many. No, she never let me buy the truck. She ignored me. I was onto her act. Yes, about the silver coins collection and about 50 grand and all his jewelry too, and gun collection. Wasn't made up. The custody stuff, I showed documentation and it came up in court. All right. So you can shove it. Do note that all of the instances of your injurious speech have not been listed here above. However, the omission of each instance should not be constructed as a waiver of any applicable rights available remedy. Nonetheless, your actions have caused my clients to suffer irreparable damage to their personal character, business endeavors, and legal due process. At the time of this writing, your series of videos have 8,000 plus views. Oh my God, 8,000 views. As a result of demand that you cease and desist all defamatory statements, defamation per se under law of Florida, blah, 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 blah. Respectfully, Valerie Baston and Todd Liebersfield. Oops. And I glided over that they wanted me to remove everything that I posted. They wanted me to remove all written, spoken video posted on social media. You must remove it yourself or cause it to be removed, whatever method is most expedient. You have to imagine me issuing a public apology to these people. All right. Imagine me apologizing to Lisa. Now, we're going to talk about it in the next video because I believe Nina's murder charge was dropped, as well as Charles. I think they're going to have tampering with the corpse charges remaining. Lisa's going to take the brunt. And they gave me a warning of like 72 hours. Imagine me apologizing to Lisa that I don't know what her verdict's going to be, but you've heard the story. Imagine me apologizing to these people, bro. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Please hit the like button. I put a lot of work into this video. Subscribe. Make sure all notifications are turned on. And I have a new video that I'm going to come up with. Information about the trial on Monday. Supposedly the charges for Nina and Charles, one charge has been dropped. They still have the other charge. And we're going to talk about that in the next video and some information I heard about that happened and took place on Friday. So stay tuned. Take care. Peace. Bloop, bloop.